Hello, welcome back. It's been a while since I made an actual real video, I guess. I'm gonna be honest here, I don't have an intro. This is all improvised. So let's just get this out of the way. I hope that this video does well because I just put a lot of effort into it. This is probably the most effort I've put into a video ever. AKA out of the 6 commentary videos that I actually have, maybe 5. So do me a favor and I don't know, maybe give that like button a little kiss on the cheek. Life as a Teenage Robot aired from 2003 to 2006 and was created by Rob Renzetti. I hope I'm saying that last name right. Probably know Rob because he's a really well-known figure in the television animation industry. And if you haven't heard of him, you've heard at least one of the shows he's worked on or had a hand in. There's Samurai Jack, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, and the show that we'll be discussing today, My Life as a Teenage Robot. And I know what you're thinking. What's it about? Well, My Life as a Teenage Robot follows Jenny Wakeman, or XJ9 if you're using her dead name. And can you guess what she is? She's a teenage robot. She is an indestructible, invulnerable, powerful, insert synonym here, superhero. She defeats lots of villains and basically solves all of Earth's problems. Except global warming and cancer, I guess. Because I don't think this kids show could handle talking about that. And while she's doing all that, she's also trying to be a normal teenage girl. This show's very episodic, so I guess I wouldn't have to do a spoiler warning thing, because there's not, really a serialized story or, something like that, but I mean, there are plot points in certain episodes, I guess. I don't know. If you want to watch this show, I'd recommend it. It's fun. It's silly. I'll talk more about it anyways, and if you don't want to watch it, or you haven't watched it in a while, don't worry, I'm gonna try to explain everything as best as I can. So I might as well start talking about the show itself and its characters. And get into the redesigning, because let's be honest here, that's the best part of my videos. It's just the art. As mentioned earlier, Jenny is a robot superhero. She was invented by Nora Wakeman, but the show really wants you to believe that they have a mother-daughter relationship. And as a main character, she does a pretty decent job. Her desire to be like her peers is relatable, because she wants to be like everyone around her, who are all humans. Despite this relatable struggle, the show somewhat fails at this, sort of. The whole idea of her wanting to be like human peers is a constant plot point that pops up in every other episode. And it's kind of repetitive. I can give lots of examples of this. In one episode, she realizes that having ear piercings is really popular, and she doesn't have ears. She gets her friend Sheldon to invent some for her, but she learns that she's fine the way she is and doesn't need ears. In another episode, she realizes that humans are able to tickle each other because they have nerve endings, so she steals an invention from her mom to make herself have nerve endings. But they don't work as well as she hoped because there's only 2 settings, pain and ticklish, so she can't do anything. So she learns that she's fine the way she is and doesn't need to be tickled. Are you seeing the parallels? This has happened a few other times as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of these episodes are really well made and some of them are even fun, but it gets super repetitive. Lots of these episodes offer the same experience, but I guess after watching all these back to back, it just doesn't feel right. I do think it's possible for this idea to work because Fluttershy from My Little Pony has the same sort of thing going on. Almost all her episodes are just about her being shy and her overcoming her shyness and speaking out. I don't actually have a problem with these episodes. I think some of them are actually my favorites in the show, but this may be because of the space between Fluttershy's episodes. When this entire show is about Jenny, you can't really have space in between. I don't want to create the impression, though, that Jenny hates being a robot and just wants to be like humans. There are a few instances of her embracing her robot side, and she even is an advocate for robot rights. I'm sorry, have you never heard of robot rights? Well, that won't do. Time for your history lecture on robot rights. See, in this show, there's a lot of robot characters. I know I said that Jenny has human peers, but that's just her everyday peers. There's other robots in this show. Some robots are good, some robots are evil, but I want to talk about the fact that some robots are mistreated. ... That might sound a bit vague, but let me give some context. You see, I want you to watch the following clip.
Boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop.
Hey, Jenny, you need help with anything?
Sheldon, don't interrupt. I'm very busy right now.
With...
Superhero robot business. You wouldn't understand. Boop.
Okay, well, have fun with that.
Consciousness is not just for robots who are meant to be communicated with by people. Consciousness is also somehow gifted to random inventions, like this scoreboard, as well as some sort of consciousness being given to amusement park contraptions. But does that mean that they were intentionally programmed to have a consciousness? Surely not, right? I mean, what would the purpose of programming sentience into a scoreboard be? Why on earth would you want it to have feelings? It's a scoreboard. What could possibly be the deeper purpose of this type of application? It's a scoreboard. We're supposed to believe that Jenny has a consciousness and free will and all that, but it's constantly referenced that she has a programming. They say it a lot of times in the show that Jenny was programmed to be a teen girl.
Was made 5 years ago, but she was designed as a teenager.
Quickly jumping back to the amusement park contraptions, it is shown that Jenny finds it mortifying when some robots are used for humans' amusement. She's being used for human protection, but that's not an issue to her. Maybe because she has the idea that she's willingly doing this. But anyways, although the amusement park robots are stuck in place and unable to move, however, when she's talking to the scoreboard, she doesn't seem to care very much. Is the scoreboard less deserving of freedom than the amusement park items? And beyond that, what's the moral of owning any of these pieces of technology? And for another, what's the morality of making these pieces of technology if they're just alive? Let me put it like this. In the amusement park episode that I keep referencing, Jenny frees the robots so that they can be in the wild and make their own choices. The end of the episode concludes that the robots from the amusement park cannot be one with human society and must be transferred to another planet, which is just implied to be a horrible idea anyways. And arguably the same could be said for Jenny. She's just doing what she's told. And I know that on a surface level you could think, well, she has free will. Sometimes she even ignores her programming and decides to not save the world that day. Don't forget that she was literally programmed to be a teenager, and teenagers by nature are rebellious. So why would Nora make the robot she's inventing a teenager? Jenny's purpose is to protect the world. Why on earth would she make it a teenager? Wouldn't Nora rather have a robot that is constantly working and constantly on task? And if you're thinking maybe she wanted Jenny to be rebellious and connect with humans, I think I could understand that, but my main issue with that is if she was intending for Jenny to connect with humans, then why was she keeping her in the room she was invented in? She doesn't let her out. First episode, she's forced to stay inside, and by the end of the episode, when Nora notices that she's outside playing with Brad and Tuck, her only reaction is, well, she saved the world for today, so I suppose I can let this go.
Well, she's already saved the world today. An afternoon off can't cause much harm.
Like, what? Why? Why? Remember earlier when I mentioned that there were good and evil robots? Well, I just want to get back to that real quick because who is making evil robots? And they're not evil robots who just want to steal the bank and get money. They're evil robots who want to destroy and enslave humanity. In the show, there's a planet called Cluster, and it's just full of robots, and they even recruit other robots to join the planet Cluster as a sort of utopia for the robot race. It's ruled by Vexus, an evil robot who wants Jenny to join, but since Jenny refused multiple times, she just wants to destroy her instead because Jenny is so focused on saving humanity, and that gets in the way of their plan to destroy humanity. The only idea I can come up with is that maybe these robots specifically are in a sort of situation. But the whole point I'm trying to get at is that I'm thinking that whoever these evil robots are just turned against humanity after being mistreated or feeling purposeless after being used and then left behind. And I know what you're thinking, why would someone make such a good robot like this and then just leave them behind? Well, our good old friend Nora does the same thing anyway. Nora has made prototypes of Jenny. Multiple, in fact. 8. And all of them are just shut off in her basement. And I know that they're prototypes, but they're actually pretty capable. I mean, yeah, sure, some of them don't really have a purpose. I mean, one of them's just sad all the time. I don't know if you really want that in your house. But one of them is constantly cleaning. I think Nora would have totally enjoyed that. And I get the gimmick with these guys is that they're kind of like Jenny's sisters. But that's not what they really are they? They're just versions of Jenny that Nora doesn't care about as much. I hate to keep jumping back and forth, but remember when I mentioned Vexus? Well, Vexus has a daughter. Yes, a daughter, who becomes queen after her defeat. And she's a good ruler, I suppose. We never really see her after her debut. I wish I could have a grand theory on why this is possible, but I'm at a loss. All these are too many unanswered questions, and later I'm going to bring up some other stuff that also questions the ethics of robots. But back to the design itself, I actually love Jenny's design. In general, all of this show is super shapy and geometric. It gives the show a great aesthetic, and this applies to the characters as well. Jenny has super cool pigtails, and I don't know how to describe their shape. It's sort of like a bent triangle. It has many different purposes. It acts as hair and a lot of different weapons. This makes a lot of the action scenes better to watch. And even though I don't have time to draw every single one of the weapons that Jenny has ever used, but if you just watch only one fight scene, you'll know what I mean. It gets pretty creative. For my redesign, I didn't really want to change much. Instead, I just kind of drew her in my style and made her look as shiny as I could. I think I successfully gave her the metallic look that I was going for. And this is probably one of my favorite drawings in this video. Brad is one of Jenny's cool, awesome, epic, admirable, insert synonym here, friends. He is truly just a side character. I mean, yeah, he's in more episodes, but still, it's kind of, underwhelming, I suppose. Brad occasionally shares his wisdom, aka basic knowledge.
Let me try to explain this. You see, we humans have a sense of touch, which is caused by nerve endings found right under the skin. These nerves...
He tells Jenny what the correct thing to do is, and usually she ignores it for the sake of the lesson of the episode, or the sake of the conflict, or the sake of the entertainment, anything really.
You don't need to suck up to Brit and Tiff to be popular, just lighten up, be yourself.
He's just an average teen boy for the most part. Just with better morals, I guess. Most teen boys I've met didn't have great morals. Brad is pretty alright. If there were any facts to tell you about Brad, I guess it would be that he likes skateboarding. In the intro of every episode, we see him at the skate park. And, in the first episode, we see him on a skateboard. And I don't remember any other time we see him with a skateboard. But screw it, for the sake of adding some personality, I gave him the skateboard in my redesign. And as for his friendship with Jenny, it is pretty sweet for the most part. Some people think that Brad and Jenny would make a good couple. Personally, I don't see it. I don't get that vibe from them, but I don't know, man. He's better than Sheldon. And trust me.
We'll get to Sheldon.
Anyway, Brad also has a younger brother who I also redesigned in this video, so stick around. That's it, I guess. I wish I had more to say, but he's just an okay character. I wish he had some conflict. I mean, we constantly hear references to his dad and stuff, so sure, maybe that could have caused some conflict. I mean, there was one episode where his dad wouldn't let him drive or something, and he was very upset about it. I feel like while Jenny has this overarching desire to be like her peers, Brad is just sort of desireless. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just got basic needs. He's just your average guy. He's a good guy, but not a great guy. Maybe I'm giving him a bit of a hard time, though. Although what I don't think I'm giving him a hard time for is his design. Don't get me wrong, I like the ginger spiky hair. I think it's unique. But I just don't understand his outfit. He is pretty logical and obviously shares wisdom with Jenny, but I don't know if this outfit is really Brad. We see him at the skate park. We see how he gets along with most people, minus some girls. Wouldn't he have a more expressive outfit? Actually, in the pilot to My Life as a Teenage Robot, Brad has a different design. I mean, I think his head region looks pretty bad, but his outfit is actually pretty alright. Of course, I don't think it would fix it completely, but you could just put Brad's current design head on his old body, and I think it's almost a good design. In my redesign, I didn't exactly copy the pilot design, I just used it as an inspiration. I think it also would have been neat if he kept this sort of jacket cool guy design, because then when he shares wisdom, it can seem a little bit more out of the blue, and it could be a fun little gag for the audience. Like, he's this cool skater guy, and then occasionally he's just like, you know, Jenny, sometimes it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. Anywho, his design took the longest, and yet I have so little to say about him. So, remember when I had so little to say about Brad? Yeah, Tuck is probably worse. The best way to describe Tuck is a child. He isn't exactly the most logical person, but I mean, most children aren't, so I'd give them a pass. I know this makes me look bad. I didn't have anything to say about Brad, one of the main characters, and now I have nothing to say about Tuck, one of the main characters. But in my defense, for Tuck specifically, he probably has the least amount of focus episodes. And he's not even in most episodes. I don't even know why he's included in, like, basically every poster I could find online. He's not that important, he's just kind of there. Don't get me wrong, though, he does have some really great jokes.
Please! No! Please! No! Please! No! Please! No! Please! No! Please! No! Please! Okay.
There's an episode where he sees the future, and he's worried that Brad is going to die, and he thinks Jenny is the cause of Brad's death, so he tries to fix it by keeping Brad in the house instead of explaining to him what he saw, I guess, because that totally works. But there are a few really funny jokes there, and I really like this one part where he thinks Brad's dead and he starts crying and everything.
I was a fool! No one man, no matter how courageous, can change the course of history! Confound you, destiny!
And to support Tuck's unsmart decision is his unsmart grades. He literally is about to fail second grade. And because he has such bad grades in class, in one episode, he has to make a sort of project/presentation about his hero. And I'm just gonna say this now. The fact that he's able to choose how to make his project is so stupid because, geez, man, I remember every time I had a project, they'd basically give us a list of things we needed to do. It's like a checklist. But here it's like, oh, just have creative freedom, kids. What? I have a very hard time believing that this teacher did not give him a strict rubric to attend to. And it's not like I like this episode otherwise, because Tuck's just a jerk.
Now listen, Tuck.
Come on! My grandma could do better stunts than you yahoos!
That's it! No more! All right. We'll help you with the rest of your project, but no more Tuck the Dictator.
I'll be polite, I promise.
12 seconds later.
All right, you monkeys, please get hopping! Move!
Get you up for shit. Now for a good laser blast to the... Hey! What the...
You're winning the battle too quickly! I need more drama!
Despite picking Jenny as his hero, he creates this movie video production where he tries to recreate how he met Jenny, and he's just being mean. He, like, mischaracterizes her and makes her seem like a mean jerk. I get that we all have a different perspective, but doesn't this very much change how Tuck looks at Jenny? I always assumed that his view of Jenny was as a friend, but here it's like he views her as an unpredictable person. In fact, throughout the show, we see that he doesn't really consider robots people as much as the other guys, because in the same episode as the amusement park people, he's just like, Of course, robots are stupid.
But you won't, because you think you're better than them.
Duh! They're just stupid robots.
And I'm just like, bro, there's a robot right in front of you, and you guys are friends. I don't know if you've realized this, but most of the episodes where I don't like him are in his focus episodes, which means I don't like Tuck when we're supposed to get to know him. So, I feel like that's a failure. As for his design, I don't really care. And I know I care about a lot of things, but I feel like I don't know what to do with his design. It's like, because he doesn't really have a personality outside being kind of dumb, a child, and a jerk, I don't really see what I'm supposed to do here. I don't think the show meant for him to be a jerk anyways, so why would I design him as a jerk? On top of that, I just don't see anything actually wrong with his design. This striped sweater's kind of cute, I guess. I like his big head, but my art style would require a bit more realistic proportions, so I just kind of drew him in my style. He is my least favorite of this video that I've made, design-wise and commentary-wise. Yeah, so, I don't know, man. If you like Tuck, and Tuck's your comfort character, and you love him more than anything, good for you, I guess. Let bygones be bygones, but I don't see it, Chief. In fact, go into the comments and tell me exactly why I'm wrong. I would love to hear that, because as of right now, I don't see any reason to enjoy Tuck as a character. I tried to avoid talking about Sheldon. I put Brad and Tuck before Sheldon. I don't really want to talk about Sheldon. But here we are. And we're going to talk about Sheldon. And shipping. And weird stuff. So, hold your horses. If you don't know, Sheldon... No, not that Sheldon. There, that one. Is a side character in the show, and he's just like a student at the same school that they go to, and he has this really big crush on Jenny. And I know, at a surface level, most cartoons have some sort of subplot like this where a character has a crush on another character, and it's not really a big deal. But holy moly, he is constantly asking her out, and she is constantly saying no, and he just won't take it for an answer. It's not like a one-episode thing where he just doesn't take it for an answer. No, multiple episodes he asks her out. And he doesn't take no for an answer. It's not very feminist of you, Sheldon. I know you're thinking, it's probably not that serious. It's just a little joke in the show. Not really. Like, I get that it's sometimes played off as a joke, but oh my god. You know what he does? In one episode, he goes up to Jenny and he's all like, Jenny, do you want to go with me and date and blah, blah, blah? And she's all like, Sheldon, no. I'd rather have a boy who's a robot like me so we can go on a date together and both be robots. Sheldon says a robot is cold and hard and unfeeling, and no robot could love Jenny like he does.
I mean is, no robot could love you like I do. Robots are cold and unfeeling.
And then Jenny obviously is offended, and then he says, no, wait, you're not like one of those robots. Sheldon literally just said, you're one of the good ones.
No, wait! I didn't mean all robots. You're not cold or unfeeling.
Then Sheldon goes and decides, hey, she wants a robot boyfriend. Let me pretend to be a robot called the Silver Shell. He's an inventor, right? So he makes himself a suit, kind of like Iron Man, I guess, and is the Silver Shell. So, as the Silver Shell, he is not going to seduce Jenny in this fake body. No, that's already messed up, but he's going to do something weirder. He's going to make the Silver Shell a meanie, a jerk, and a horrible person, is planning on ruining robots for Jenny, so she's not going to want to date robots anymore. What kind of plan is that? Stupid. That's what it is. It's a stupid plan. And, like, for a while, Jenny is just like, oh, Silver Shell, I love you. And she doesn't care that he's a jerk. And Sheldon gets upset about this and continues with his plan. Eventually, Jenny does put her foot down and say that she doesn't want to be with someone who's a meanie like the Silver Shell. Sheldon also does a bunch of other concerning things, like apparently at some point he tried to buy Jenny off of Nora. Like, what are you thinking, Sheldon? Because he's such a jerk, I get upset every time the show implies that him and Jenny could potentially be together someday. I've seen some people ship Sheldon and Brad, and I'm just like, maybe in theory, the nerdy guy and the semi-popular laid-back guy could work, but unfortunately, I don't see it. If I were rewriting this, then sure, you know what? Gay rights, everyone. Let's make everyone gay. And if anyone in the comments is gonna go, oh, you shouldn't be making everyone gay in your little fake rewrite in your head, then, screw you, it's Pride Month, I don't care. So ideally, I guess, shipping in the show would be kinda gay, and everyone would be happy. That's it. That's the ideal reality. Unfortunately, we live in the reality where Sheldon's a freaking creep, Jenny has weird, concerning relationships with humans, and everyone's weird. Speaking of shipping, though, I'll put it out there. I've seen some people ship Jenny and Vega. If you don't remember, Vega is Vexus's daughter. But Vega only had, like, one episode, and I just don't see it. If anything, I think Jenny and Misty could work. Now, Misty's a part of the teen team. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. And the teen team in the show is a bunch of teenagers who came together from different galaxies to hang out and explore the universe. Eventually, the teen team breaks up, and Misty still comes back to visit Jenny, and they're friends for a while, but then they fight also, too. So it could be like friends to enemies to lovers. I think there's nothing stopping Jenny from being a bisexual icon. And we've made it to the end. Oh man, 4 characters in one video and talking about the entire show and thoughts in general. This was a huge undertaking, but a fun one. Despite my complaints, I'll admit I had a good time watching the show, so I guess it was worth it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you made it this far, then I don't know, maybe do give that like button a smooch for me, will ya? I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye! Stay cheesy.